warm welcome to all the panelists, audience, and everyone out here. So, since we are discussing India's competitiveness in global sustainable manufacturing and investment, so I think it's very apt time. This is India's decade. We are a growing economy, one of the fastest growing economy, and we have great missions, achievements to cite here. So, I would like to begin with, first of all, that when we talk about manufacturing, there is a highly ambitious scheme by PM Narendra Modi, which is Make in India. So I would like to know from you guys your learnings, your experiences. What are your experiences so far? What are the challenges? Do we need any kind of revision? What are the things we need to address in terms of Make in India campaign? You, please.
Thank you, Prashant, and welcome to all the panelists as well. An honor to be here. So look, I will speak from the perspective of Baker Hughes, and I'll just give a little bit of background. You know, we are an leading energy technology company. We play in the upstream as well as the industrial space. We are in India as a business. We are working in every major oil and gas basin. Globally, as you may have heard of LNG, you know, a majority of the Western LNG supply works on refrigeration compressors manufactured by Baker Hughes. So we are a global player. From an India perspective, you know, we've got 2,900 people, out of which only about 900 people are engaged with the India business. Okay. The balance are serving our global markets. We've got 17 locations in India, including tier 2 cities such as Coimbatore, Kochi. Of course, we also have major hubs in Bombay, Bangalore, Hyderabad, and you can go to any corner of the country, like you can go to Barmer or you can go to Silchar, and you'll find Baker Hughes there.
This is Baker Hughes India arm only?
India serving the global market as well as the India business.
All right, okay.
What we are seeing beyond the India business, which is about, you know, $400 million business in India, we have an export business of about 450 million, including in-house manufacturing, but more significantly, an engineering center and a very strong and a growing global hub for supply chain.
All right.
So we are manufacturing our state-of-the-art equipment in India through a variety of suppliers which we have developed over the years, and that's, you know, about 400 million today. But the aspiration today, with the global geopolitics going on, is that this needs to go to about $1 billion by 2030. Okay. So we're very ambitious and very gung-ho about India, and we think that this is going to continue to have, you know, a 15 to 20% growth over the next few years. From a regulatory perspective, no complaints. I mean, you know, we are setting up huge bases and investing a lot in India. A slightly different perspective I'd like to give you is that, you know, it's not just about manufacturing in India. I think we also need to focus on design and engineering in India. Today, India as a hub for engineering, of course, digital also. We got our digital centers actually in Kochi. Now we got 400 people in Kochi in our digital center. But beyond that, in Bangalore, for example, today, a very qualified 12-year-old engineer in India, you know, who can basically design a turbine for any customer around the world is about $28 an hour. That's about half of what you'd get in China. So we are highly competitive on certain space with the skill sets and the engineering expertise and the communication capabilities that we have across to be able to communicate with the rest of the world is a huge advantage. And so we should not just talk about manufacturing, traditional manufacturing, but also engineering in India.
And design.
Second thing you got to talk about is we have the ability to leapfrog into the next stage of manufacturing. We've already set up 3D printing centers in India, and we are manufacturing high-end, high-temperature, high-pressure parts for our turbines globally.
Has Make in India given a boost to this?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely. You know, I mean, Make in India is that you have, well, of course, you have the Make in India, but you also have the fundamental economic incentive to manufacture in India. On its own, it's going to continue to be sustainable and affordable. So I'll let the other panelists get a chance to speak as well. But as I said, we are quite positive and optimistic about India. Thank you.
Eklavya, your take?
Hi. Okay, lovely. Great insights. What I'm going to do is I could either give you a very short, crisp answer or probably take the little liberty of doing a slightly longish explanation. I just traveled to Singapore last week, and it pained my heart to pay 92 rupees for $1. Okay? Now, why does that happen? Why is our currency weakening? Right? Now, the usual answers are geopolitical reasons, macroeconomic reasons, but primarily one of the most important reasons of why a currency weakens for a country is because they export less and they import more, right?
Right.
And the reason why today we have that imbalance, right, is because something somewhere is not working smoothly. Now, PLI and Make in India are amazing initiatives, right? And I think we must give credit to the government to push this as much as they are doing, right? But what really comes to making impact is how things are being run on the ground, how MSMEs are operating, and what are the challenges and weaknesses in the system that they are not able to deliver as much as, let's say, a China could over the last 20 years, right? When we talk about MSME in India, that's about 65 million companies employing almost 400 million workers, right? And what we are building at Sethi is an ecosystem where we can actually drive worker transformation so that they can bring in productivity and efficiency and raise the bar of quality of products of Indian companies, that they not only serve Indian market but actually can become a powerhouse and a factory for the world. Because 1.5 billion people, right, the domestic market for us is too small to give employment to everybody, right? And a country having such large human capital, it's imperative for us to scale up our human capital, look at workforce transformation, and be able to build for the world and not just for India. Now, when we talk about workers and where we are possibly lagging behind is about competence for the global markets. When we talk about competence for the global markets, we talk about productivity and the quality of product, right? But what we see really at the grassroots level in small industries, that these two important factors are not being able to met to the standards that we would want. And the main reason for that is that the workers that are working in these companies and factories and godowns and large businesses, right, are informally skilled, right? They have never gone through vocational, technical skilling. And primarily, they are delivering what best they can deliver because of experiential learning and because of this lovely word that we call jugaad. Now, jugaad is by definition a short-term fix. But when jugaad becomes culture, that is a time when we really have a large problem at our hands, right? And what we are doing with Sethi is that we are making sure that all these workers get formally skilled on their mobile phones and come through an ecosystem where they're not only getting skilled, but they're getting opportunities and they're getting financial inclusion. Because really, to take that worker out of survival mode into growth mode, he needs a complete radical transformation, because only when he gets transformed, he gets skilled, and he gets personally secure, will he be able to add that value to the organization that he works for, right? Otherwise, the poor worker today on our factory floors ends up working for either the money lender or the labor contractor, right? Because he is in survival mode and not in growth mode. So the reason for our existence really is this impact-led transformation, where we uplift, upskill, and make the workers much better at their job roles so that they can deliver more productively and more efficiently to the organizations that they work for. And that is a direct impetus to all the industries that are currently being involved in Make in India and government's PLI scheme. So it's a very grassroots initiative that we are doing, which will eventually lead to larger transformative results.
All right. So, Sidhantt, your take from the perspective of Deliverate and your companies?
Yeah. So, see, the beauty about great leaders is that they give simple statements without any terms and conditions, and they are always open for interpretations. So that's the beauty about the statement of Make in India, is that it can be interpreted by different businesses in the way that they think it helps them. Let it be a small enterprise, let it be a saturated enterprise, a mature enterprise, or new age startups like ours. We interpret Make in India as a mindset change. It is inevitable that a country becomes great when people start making something of themselves. Let it be economic growth, let it be personal growth, or let it be growth in their way of thinking. So for us as an organization, Make in India has given birth to different thought processes within the organization, where we also promote that whatever you want to make of yourselves, our organization and the platform that we provide enables you to do that. So let it be you want to innovate something, let it be you want to make your life a better life, you can come work with us, and together we can make it a possibility. So even in our businesses, that we think that a restaurant or I would say a catering company, they want to grow, but there are some bottlenecks that stop them. So that's where we come in. With the human capital that we have and with the mindset that we culture within the organization, is that you need to go to a customer and just let them empower themselves, enable themselves to run the businesses more smoothly. So for us, always, Make in India is just simply a mindset that enables everyone around us to be what they truly want to be, and nothing is going to stop them because the country is standing by them.
All right. Nitin, your take from the perspective of Spacewood? Mic is not on. Can you give me a mic?
Yeah, that's fine. So thanks, Prashant. I think we have heard the tech and energy perspective, we have heard the human perspective and a startup perspective also. But probably we fit perfectly for the theme, which is Make in India, because we are from a manufacturing industry. So Spacewood primarily is into the business of making furniture, home furniture as well as office furniture, commercial furniture. We are one of the largest companies in India and growing very fast for the last about 20 years. Now, the way I see is Make in India comes at a very right time, perfectly positioned for companies like us. Because if I see my perspective first as a furniture, probably India was always known to be very good in furniture in the olden days when there was, artisans, the manually made furniture, whether from Jaipur, Rajasthan or Uttar Pradesh. But probably we lost the edge after modernization, after things started becoming more industrialized. And all this furniture was taken over by the panel industry, which is supposed to be furniture made with machines. And that's where probably India lost edge. But then I think last couple of years, there has been huge impact after Make in India and probably government's initiatives earlier, like even GST. Because for furniture industry, logistics matters a lot because you are supplying across the country. And in a simple state border restrictions and different taxations. So even a change like GST, which happened a couple of years back, made a huge impact. And now what's happening is the new initiatives which are coming in form of incentives, PLI incentives. There are PLIs for making furniture hubs. You have a lot of ancillary industry. typically learning from the experience of China, what government has also said is unless you develop infrastructure of allied industries, then only probably the industry can really flourish. And that's what is being targeted now. So that's happening in India. For especially medium and small scale industries, the limits are being raised. There are really very, very good schemes. I mean, those who want to genuinely work towards it, I think the schemes are excellent. Yes, financially, probably there can be something more done, but those who have done good business, I think there are enough investors who are coming forward to help the industry. So all in all, I think it's a very golden time. And like Eklavya rightly said, I mean, why the country is going through currency problem is because if you are going to make less and import more, obviously we're going to have problems. But now I think there is a substantial change in Make in India. We have been able to almost make at par world products. Probably government is also helping in terms of establishing quality standards through BIS schemes, whereby the import of probably low cost and low quality furniture is going to be arrested. So I think all in all, there is a very good times, and for the industry who wants to genuinely make an impact, I think this is absolutely right time. So I am very bullish on Make in India program, and I think we are going absolutely right in terms of the schemes.
So bullish on Make in India program, that's the key takeaway. So with this, when we talk about Make in India as a manufacturing hub, over the recent years, have you noticed any changes when we say that ease in doing business? Since you represent a global perspective at Baker Hughes, so what is your take on this?
So I think a couple of things that were mentioned about GST, about regulation. I think those things have helped a great deal. The other thing from our perspective, right, is that there is a lot of focus on recognizing what we have and recognizing what we don't have. You know, in order to enable the Indian, and I don't want to spend too much time, but maybe, there'll be other aspects of it. One aspect I want to highlight is that there are a couple of things that are really good about India. One is that for heavy industries and for technology-focused companies, and I don't mean just digital technology, there is a very good ecosystem of public sector enterprises in India. Okay. And they're cash-rich, they're very well-run, and they offer a long-term business to companies like us to develop their business for the local companies and develop products for global markets. Secondly, there is a recognition that there are certain technologies we don't have, and then we have to to establish our presence in India and to use those technologies to produce more products. We need certain incentives. For example, we import a lot of our equipment custom duty free, and the government has a scheme for that. And it's a very progressive and a very well laid out scheme, so that we can actually participate in the Indian economy without breaking the bank. And the country benefits from this. It also allows us to partner with large public sector companies to create an ecosystem where we can jointly develop those partnerships. And India has a great, especially public sector companies have a very good framework for contract compliance, integrity, and long-term partnership. So I think this is a really great ecosystem for India to develop, technology-based products, services, and capabilities for the future.
You want to add something from the perspective of Sathi.in?
It's okay. Yeah. No, I think the government is doing its part, but I always believe more is possible, right? In the last 50 years, we've made this transition from moving from being the 50th or the 60th largest economy in the world to now the 5th largest economy in the world, right? It's been a great progressive journey, but why look at the past when you must look at the future? And the journey from being the 5th largest to number 1 or number 2, I think we need to do a lot more. We need to look at models which have worked globally. We need to look internally at our own self. We need to look how digital transformation is sweeping the world.
Any country's model that you want to cite here?
Well, I'm a great fan of the Chinese model, right? I may not subscribe to all that they do, but it's a reality that in the last 50 years, both China, if you look back, About 50 years or 60 years back, we were both at the same level.
For China, this is just manufacturing or overall perspective?
I think manufacturing is an extremely important part for any country which has the population size that we have. So in that context, Chinese growth story is very relevant to India, right? They may have a different governance setup and they may have a different federal setup, of course, we all know that. But what they've been able to do on ground is absolutely fantastic. And I think as India, with 1.5 billion people, with 700 million active workers at any given point in time, we really need to focus on creating employment, right? And we need to focus on creating employment not just in pockets, but all across the country. And this is where I believe China has really surpassed all expectations, where every nook and corner of their country was transformed into an SEZ, right? Into a strategic unit, which then created a cohesive environment along with ancillary units and generated employment. And with that employment, they generated so many opportunities for their own workers and their own people to get skilled at such a level that they could produce the best quality stuff at the cheapest price possible in their country and then become a global powerhouse. Because I think our needs as a country are very different from, let's say, a European country or a Latin American country or the US.
Very valid point, yeah.
We've got to create employment, right? And employment can possibly only be created on such a large extent that we need through manufacturing, right? We've got the digital core competence. We've got the advantage in terms of IT and IT-related industries, and we've done magic over the last 20 years there. But I think what we really need to focus and emphasize on is creating employment for the 500-600 million people that we have, gainful employment, so that they move up, the companies that they work for move up, and together Bharat or the nation moves forward. So I think a lot more needs to be done. We are definitely heading in the right direction, but we need to do things faster, better, quicker.
Sidhantt, has it, this ease of doing business helped in procurement and other things when it comes to deliver it and everything?
See, with Make in India, when collaborated with the mindset of manufacturing, creates a good quality of employment. That's what India needs, a good quality rather than quantity. With quality employment, you can actually enable other quantity, the people who have a mindset of quantity employment to get converted into quality. Until and unless the country has that, China has quality employment, where people have work ethics, they know what, the moment they enter the shop floor or the factory floor, they know what they have to do. You can ask a person who's working 10 years in a company in India, and he still would not know what his KRA is. In China, day one, they would know what they have to do, because that's the mindset that they have. So when manufacturing is in India, with the talent, the quality of talent that we have and the access to information that we have right now, enables people to innovate. For example, in our company, we are investing a lot on automation, on robotics, with the intention of not to replace humans, but to generate quality within themselves so that they know what they have to do. They are not wasting their time doing things which are not important, and they can actually give more productivity with their work hours. And once they give productivity within the work hours, they feel that they have contributed something to the organization or to themselves.
Yeah. Nitin, your take?
Yeah, I think from ease of Make in India or business, I see two perspectives. One, if you really see last few decades, West maintained their dominance on probably technology and maybe IP production rights, and they left manufacturing to so-called third world. Asian countries and yeah. But now they are realizing partly the mistake. Probably the manufacturing powerhouses are becoming now economically much more sound. And that's why now West wants to again bring back manufacturing. Probably we are at the center stage. We are a right combination of technology, manpower. Probably down the line few years, India is going to enjoy the best demography in the world because the kind of population that we have. Because for whatever good bad reason, we didn't have population control. But probably today we have the best of the working force in the country available, which in another 20 years is going to be the most important country in the world, having the best suited talent for manufacturing. So now all we need to do is take these advantages to the right. And I think what we have now, India journey has started is on a perfect time now. If we do our acts right now, if we leverage our IT, the proficiency which Indian engineers have in IT, and the manufacturing which has started emerging now, and the demographic population that we have, so if we make right use of it, and to add to the catalyst, the schemes which are being offered by the country, probably we are going to be one of the best suited country in the world to leverage this environment now. That's what I perfectly feel.
All right, so we discussed Make in India, ease of doing business. Now time is telling me that time is up. We are already running short of time. It's already out. So just one line, India as a global investment destination, top challenge we need to address. One line statement from everyone as a closing.
Accelerate execution on the ground. Our aspirations are phenomenal. All we need to do is accelerate execution on the ground.
Accelerate execution on the ground. Your take, please. Can you please transfer the mic?
Yeah, no. I think we really need to keep pulling our socks up. We really need to specialize, right? We need to move away from the jugaad mindset to precision, perfection, right? And of course, perseverance and passion is always needed when you have to progress. So I think the time is great, the opportunity is great, but we really need to build our human capital and execute.
I think this is the time that we need to have ruthless execution, and we definitely should care about outcomes. And it should be qualitative and quantitative both. And we should see something good coming out of it.
Qualitative and qualitative both. Your take, please.
I think we have been underplaying our strengths so far. Henceforth, we need to be absolutely professionals, present the strengths that we have, and attract the best talent in the world. That's all.
Thank you so much, all the panelists, for your valuable insights. Thank you so much for your time.